What is going on, Movie Meals? Movie Meals, before we get into the Prey non-spoiler review, thank you to Movie Meal patrons, Kimberly, Karen. Guys, we dropped a podcast. It's exclusive on Patreon. Episodes after a while might be available. Clip outs will drop following Monday. Episodes for the podcast drop on Monday on Patreon. Go check that out. It only costs $1. Would mean a lot. Go check those out. We talked a lot. This last episode was almost completely WB and the stupidity that is Warner Brothers and Discovery and my new boy Zazzy. But go get some merch. It's all linked down in the description. We're here to talk about the Hulu movie Prey by our 10 Cloverfield Lane guy. So let's just get into it. Kyle, what were your positives of Prey?
My positives is that this movie freaking rules. I had a great time with this. It became a very pleasant surprise, and I didn't really know too much about it. Honestly, I kind of forgot that this project was even in development to begin with, but I came away being pleasantly surprised. But after figuring out that this guy also directed 10 Cloverfield Lane, I really should not have been surprised. He is very good, clearly, at taking
Producer of The Boys,
whether
too.
yeah, he clearly is good at taking not franchise properties necessarily, but taking the best of the ideas that come from franchises such as the Cloverfield franchise, if you call it that, or the Predator franchise with this movie Prey, and he's able to dive into like what makes those really good, and he's able to create tension, he's able to create intrigueness to it, but he also is able just to make really great looking movies, and Prey is an excellent looking movie. It does a great job with the practicalness of whether it's the action scenes or whether it's the landscape imagery that is in this movie. It makes you feel like you're in this world, whether it's the stuff that feels the most realistic or the stuff that feels the most sci-fi action elements, like when the Predator is attacking everyone. But even despite the practical elements being worked so well, that also was super refreshing, by the way. But the CGI also looked excellent in this, and I think it was excellent because the main CGI is the Predator, at least when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
the camouflage and that sort of thing. But and that helps, granted, but it still looked very good, and it still seemed almost seamless with the rest of the movie, with the rest of the movie looking as realistic and practical as it was. But he's able to turn what works best in the Predator movies, and that it's a movie about people who have skills, but they have to use their brain more than their skills in order to defeat something that is obviously more advanced than they ever will be, such as what happened with the first Predator movie. And Prey does a good job with using that, but this time in a different, not world, but different time period. It's in the 1700s, and it's a Comanche warrior who has to take on the Predator. She's the only one that not necessarily is able to stop it, but is able to find ways in order to save herself and save her tribe. And I thought that the actress Amber Midthunder, which is an awesome last name, by the way, but
Mm-hmm.
she was terrific. I don't recall knowing her of any other projects off the top of my head, at least. I haven't been able to take a deep dive yet, but I thought she was excellent. She almost carried this movie practically, and she just did an incredible job doing what she had to do throughout this entire movie. So props to this director, but props to her as well. And this just was honestly very refreshing to see a movie like this that was able to take a premise and actually succeed at doing so, but at the same time, just be able to trust in a filmmaker to be able to make just such a well shot, well thought out movie. It doesn't really matter to me that it's a Predator movie, to be honest, and I don't necessarily think people need to see any other Predator movies to really get what's going on. But it's just an excellent movie, regardless. I was very, very happy by the result of this.
Yeah, Dan Trachtenberg, the director, is awesome. I love 10 Cloverfield Lane. He directed an episode of The Boys, executive produced that, Black Mirror. Um, this movie's fantastic. It's simple. It's not trying to do too much like Shane Black's Predator, which is the last kind of reboot we got.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they used the Predator tech very, very well. It didn't necessarily feel like it was uh I like they weren't trying to do anything necessarily different. They were playing a little bit on nostalgia while also doing some cool things with it. There's some fights that are amazing. There's some fights with some animals that are amazing.
Yeah.
You're right. Amber Midthunder is amazing. She was in Hell or High Water for a small role. That's the only thing I have known that she was in. But also Dakota
Mhm.
Beavers was amazing. Like truly, this cast was fantastic, and I really appreciate that they went with they wrote this story and were faithful to the culture that is this story, that this is going to be about a Native American tribe, that this is not about, we're not going to hire a bunch of white people to play roles that they should not. And this is an example of not only a female led film but people of color led film that is just incredible. The only, well, I guess we'll get there, um yeah, the some of the fight scenes. There's one fight scene that I think is brilliant. It was so well choreographed, looked fantastic. Again, simple story. It's an hour and 40 minutes, but it is such a great movie. It's a great time. I just everything about it is perfect. It's hard to talk about it because it was that good. But Kyle, do you have any negatives?
Only minor things. I noticed some stuff within, I guess, the timeline of the movie. Like there would be a few occasions where our main character would be knocked out and then would come to, and then you wouldn't couldn't really tell like how much time had passed, or it seemed like it was a bit too
Do you need to?
what's what's the word that I'm trying to think of here? It felt a bit too coincidental or convenient of like the amount of time that seems to have passed when in hindsight it doesn't seem like that's necessarily true. But this is also, her going toe to toe with like an alien creature. So it's very minor. It's nothing to really worry about. It's just something that I noticed and only took me out for a brief second, but I was easily able to be drawn back in. So if it's not a worry to me, I don't think it's going to be a worry to many other people. And my other criticism isn't about the movie, but it's just very unfortunate that this movie wasn't able to go into theaters. I understand that the last Predator movie, did not do well at all in theaters, and with the streaming game on the rise even more than it was when the last Predator movie came out. That was probably the decision that was made, but it's very unfortunate. I don't know if this movie would have done fantastic at the box office, but it kind of feels like it's possible that it could have had enough of a following to where this could have played pretty well for at least, I don't know, a few weeks, and then it probably would have gone to streaming a little bit sooner. But it still would have been nice to be able to see this on the big screen, but I still was able to have a great time with this movie despite that.
I'm not with you on your first negative. Don't care, not
Sure.
a big deal.
It's fair.
The only real
Yeah.
negative is this movie's not in theaters. That's the true only real negative of this movie to me.
Mhm.
I wish I could have seen it in theaters. It's that good. I highly recommend it if you like action. If you don't want to sit forever, it's not super long, but it is fantastic. I was trying to look up how much it made or how much it cost to make. Um,
Oh,
but
it's
I'm not sure I'll be
budget-wise?
able
I
to
can't
find it.
imagine it's a
Yeah,
very high budget, but,
I don't either.
um
And it's like, toss it into theaters for 2 weeks. You probably make your budget. Maybe you won't.
yeah, it's
I mean,
very
Morbius got into
possible, but
theaters twice. There's no reason this can't be in theaters. Uh,
yeah,
anyway,
it's just a weird time. Seems like
yeah,
studios are, despite, having all the data and the research, you just never know what movie hits, what movie doesn't, but still, trust in the theaters. Like, try and release stuff. You'll probably make more money regardless of if it's a technical flop or not, as compared to getting those streaming numbers. So
yeah.
that's
And if
just
you
my two
don't have
cents, though.
Hulu, this is worth alone to me the 8.99 one,
Yeah,
get 1 month of Hulu just to get it. Do that 7-day free trial and then cancel, get out of there if you don't have it. But it is worth it. I think in some
yeah,
places in the country it is on Disney Plus, but for here in America it was on Hulu. So please go check it out. Praise awesome.
yes.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for checking out the video. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, share. Go watch the podcast. Go check out everything else on the channel. Do all that great stuff. And as always, thanks for watching, Mom.
See you guys.